Hello and welcome to your in-depth horoscope forecast for September. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. That means every time I release a video, you'll get an alert. Now also, if you'd like to ascend above Zodiac sign astrology and embrace natal astrology based on your time, date and place of birth, please check out my special offer of a 12-month forecast and a character analysis and get 30% off. Please see the link beneath this video for more information. Hello Libra and welcome to your in-depth forecast for September. Now, the really big moment of this month for you personally is on the 22nd, when there is the autumn equinox and the Sun enters your sign. But this triggers the third cardinal quadrant of the whole year. So we have the Earth point on the 22nd. And this is going to be a time when you really move into your own power. But that's not to say that you're not achieving things before then this month. Venus, your ruler, and Mercury are in your sign early on, and they're going to provide a lot of sparkle and charisma. But it is true that the Sun and Mars are marooned, and I use that word advisedly, in a much more psychological part of your situation. And this could see you wanting to work out some very deep stuff, perhaps stuff that's been manifesting itself for some years in your situation, not least because of the transit of Pluto in your fourth house of emotion. Of course, we did have Saturn going through this sector through to the 16th of December last year. And also, once Uranus was in the sign of Aries and squaring up with Pluto, that created quite a lot of politics around relationships as well. So Libra people have really gone through quite a testing time, I believe, in recent years. So this particular autumn equinox, I think, is going to be critical because Mars, the planet of drive, enters your sign mid-month on the 15th. Now, in purely technical astrology, Mars is in detriment in the sign of Libra, but I actually feel that you're going to use this very much to your advantage. Because although Venus has left by then, Mercury is still with you. And having that gathering of energy of Mercury, Mars, and also the Sun from the 22nd is all about thrust. Now, it is true that Mercury does go into shadow on the 19th of this month and retrograde on the 27th. And that points towards some of the things that you try from the middle of this month, not quite gaining the traction that you would like, but other things can really storm forwards. But the most important thing is our relationship with ourselves. And I just feel that in the first 10 days of this month, as the Sun forges an awesome angle to the planet of freedom, Uranus, it's possible that you can really see some of the connections, some of the patterns that are going on in your situation that seem to come to you, that may come from others. And also because Mars in the 12th house is in a very deep angle with Pluto in your fourth house of emotion and where you live, the things you're doing behind the scenes for the first couple of weeks, even 3 weeks of this month, because the Sun goes on to replace Mars in a trine with Pluto, suggests something's changing at such a very profound level. And it could be, for example, about starting a family, starting a business, leaving a relationship which is no longer working, putting down some extraordinarily firm boundaries where in the past perhaps you've been a little bit too much of a people pleaser. Now I feel that you've grown to really understand your self-worth much more. So I think this is all pointing towards a takeoff period which is really terrifically exciting on the 22nd. But let's just wind back a little bit to the start of the month, because Venus, your ruler, does from the 3rd to the 9th forge a brilliant angle to stern Saturn. Now, when these two get together in a constructive way, as they do for you, that points towards a relationship that's really meaningful for you getting stronger. But equally, concurrent to those dates, there could be someone you need to push back on who perhaps has been taking liberties with you, and it may be someone in your family, someone who's really quite close to you, may overwhelm you at times, and you may feel that no more. You have to create a sense of greater respect from them towards you. Now on the 10th, Venus does move out of your sign into the sign of Scorpio, and the great news for you is that your finances can really improve from that point. Just to let you know, however, in week 3, Venus goes opposite Uranus in your 8th house of longer term resources. This could create a spark of a brilliant idea, but it also could lead to a sudden cost, but also a really magnetic connection in a romantic or even sexual way, and that can be very, very exciting for you. But on the 15th, Mars makes its way into your sign, and I love this because although Mars is obviously opposite the sign that it governs of Aries, it also governs Scorpio traditionally, but Mars moving into your sign is going to bring out the risk taker in you. You're someone who can, it's said, analyse things to such a degree that you kind of don't make a decision, and I think Mars is going to bring a much greater sense of self-belief to your approach, and if there are some things that need to make way, this is going to give you the push to take those ideas, those plans, those strands forwards. You're going to be less self-analytical. Now on the 19th, as Mercury does go into its shadow, it does start to go into a rather wide square with Pluto. So if there is a discussion you still need to have with that family member, someone you share a property with, maybe it's a housemate, maybe it's a lodger, maybe it's someone you share space with at work, if there's some kind of crowding in of your right to manifest your individuality, this can be a time for you to push back. But your physical energy will really increase from the 22nd, and that's going to be really wonderful for you. There is a full moon that occurs just before then, and that is asking you to be conscious of balance in the more spiritual, psychological, and emotional side of life with the more practical side of life. Ironically, the practical side of life for you is the sign of Pisces, which actually governs those spiritual, emotional and psychological issues. And where the sun is, as the full moon occurs, in the rather earthy sign of Virgo, that's the psychology for you. But anyway, something at that time may need some kind of reattunement, but I think really Mars is giving you a lot of support. Mercury may be in shadow at that point, but it can still give you support. And then on the 27th, Mercury does go into the third of its air retrogrades that it's going through this year. If you remember last year, Mercury went through 3 watery squidgathons, as I've called them, because the water, if you like, has an impact that is not good for the clarity that Mercury needs. Now, it just so happened that twice last year Mercury did end up in part of its retrogrades in air signs, but they started in water signs. This year they're all in air signs. So this is an opportunity for you just to really rethink some of the things that you're trying to get off the ground. But you can do it. And I do feel that the earlier parts of this month is almost like the end of a huge process that's been going on for a very, very long time for you. And as you emerge, because of the support of Mars, into the sunlight of the sun in your sign with the autumn equinox, the thrust that you're going to have, you know that life isn't always a straightforward process. You know there's going to be bumps in the road. You know that your natural decorum, sensibility, sensitivities, diplomacy and good manners are not always enough in this crazy world we live in. But I feel that you've developed a tremendous amount of fortitude in recent years, and I think you're going to start to honour and see just how far you've come in that process by the time the sun gets into your sign on the 22nd.